You saw that I clicked it. What is this?
Breast?
No, it's not. Testes. So you're supposed to be able to look at the slide and say that's a testis. So the organ. All right. How would I know that's a testis besides you saw me click it? It sort of has an outside. There's all these little tubes inside. Remember we talked about seminiferous tubules in lecture. So those are the seminiferous tubules, the sperm maker tubes. And then there's sort of this random, sort of oddly vague, honeycomby, wormy looking thing. Right? So you're supposed to know on a testis slide some layers. So the outside of the testis, the part you'd actually touch if you were to touch one, is a tunica. What tunica would that be? Albuginea is the fancy way to say that one. So the tunica albuginea is always the white part of the testis, the part you would touch. So the outside of that slide is the tunica albuginea. These are the seminiferous tubules, all these little circles inside of it. Then you notice that they all kind of meet here. This thing looked like a net to some drunk Roman, and that means reticula, so they call it the rete testis. That is the rete, where all the seminiferous tubules kind of drain together. It's the kidney bean of the testis, so to speak. So on the models, you'll also see the rete, where the testis kind of bows in. Right? So what do you think you call this little section of a testis, where you see the little white lines? What do you think you call that chunk? Lobule, just like your lungs. Scary thought. Right? But so you have lobules that contain the tubules that drain to the rete testis. That's the basic layout. You can't tell from this picture the cells unless I zoom in. So we're going to zoom in on a testis. Boom, boom, boom. All right, this is the classic picture. So those are seminiferous tubules. How would I know that staring at them? What do you see in their center?
Sperm.
I see sperm. I see tails. So those are the sperm living inside the tubules. They go from the outside in. So these are the seminiferous tubules. This would be a testis. And so the sperm are growing basically toward the middle like that. So these are the seminiferous tubules with the sperm inside of them. So if you see that, that's the testis up close and personal. All right, so we're going to zoom in on those and see if we can figure something out.
So each circle is a tube?
Each circle is one seminiferous tubule. So testis is just a collection of those. Now, here's one tubule. You're supposed to know in your objectives spermatogenic cells, sustentacular cells, interstitial cells. All right. So what does spermatogenic mean? Medical terminology, people. Sperm maker cells. Those are the ones on the outside. So the cells that make the ring, those are making the cells because they divide inwards. So all these cells I'm pointing to on the outside, they're like the square round ones. Those are spermatogenic. They're making the sperm the inside. Once in a while, like right here, you'll notice there's a cell that looks different than all the friends. This one's kind of long and purple. Here's one, here's one, here's one. Those are not making sperm. They're helpers. They nurse. They care for. Those are sustentacular, or if you look at it, they have other names. Nurse cells or Sertoli cells. You can say any of those. So the round ones are the makers, genic. The not round ones that look different, those are the nurses. Make sense? Then we have these cells here. They're not in the circle.
Interstitial.
Those are interstitial. Those are between the circles.
Can you point to the nurse ones again?
So like that one, that one, that one,
okay.
that one, that one. So they just look, it's like Sesame Street. They don't look like they belong with the others. That's how you know them. And these are interstitials between the circles. So you're going to see on a slide, next week you'd say that's a testis, that's a seminiferous tubule, those are the cells. That'd be an A answer kind of thing. Makes sense? So go organ to layer onion. So you got that.
The
Let's
sustentacular cells
try-
and the spermatogenic cells.
What's that?
Kind of look the same.
Exactly what I showed you, just different slides. Seminiferous tubule. I can see spermy guys out here. So if I were on a test being mean and pointed to this cell here, you'd say
Spermatogenic.
spermatogenic. If I was pointing to like this oddball looking cell here, Sertoli or nurse cell, and I have to give you a bigger picture to see the interstitials, which are off the screen.
Are
Very
the
good.
interstitials the white space or no?
Yeah, if anything that's not the ring. So interstitium would be between the circles. So all these,
right.
I'd have to see what's over there.
Okay.
But you're not the ring, you're between the ring. So you're interstitial. Make sense? That's your first slide. Is you have to know a testis when you see one and be able to identify where you're at. Okay? There's a whole lot of those. Let's try this one. Do we know what that is?
Oh, that's
Is that a testis? They know.
no.
That's not a testis. Even though it has circles, that's not the same looking circles as that's an epididymis. That's where sperm go to school. That's the next organ up. The way I know that's an epididymis, I look at the circles. They look different. They don't have as many rings to them. They're more floppy looking. They're not round. And also, if you notice, they're a different tissue. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on those. Go closer. Here's one ring of an epididymis. You notice there's only one circle. There's not a bunch of cells going in the middle. So here's all the sperm, having school, having fun. And notice you have basically one ring around it instead of multiple rings around it. This is the epididymis. So if you look at the epididymis, you're supposed to know what this ring is made out of. What tissue is the ring made out of, according to your little lab manual? Very good. So there's our columnar epithelium. Notice it has little hairs on it. So it's pseudostratified columnar. You don't have to name any of the cells. You have to name the tissue. You have to name the little hair, stereocilia. Right?
Wait, show
Microvilli.
that again? Stereocilia?
Yeah, little hairs.
Okay.
So cilia. You can just say cilia, that's fine. You got the sperm, and there's a little red line right here, which is the smooth muscle. So it's still a ring that looks different than the rings of the testis. So a common exam question or quiz question will give you a ring, and you have to discern if it's a testis ring or a seminiferous tubule, epididymis ring. So there's rings, but they don't look the same. So that's an epididymis ring. Right? So we're going to tell me about this one here. What's that one?
Testis.
That's a testis. Notice the ring looks different. There's more cells in a testis. It kind of goes further in. All right? So try these rings.
Epididymis.
Epididymis. They're still rings, but they just look different. So you have to kind of get a handle that they're similar in structure, but they don't look the same when you look at the ring anatomy. Well, epididymis has usually really big rings, floppy. They're only one layer thick. The sperm are all over the place. All right, so be careful. It's a very common missed question. You see rings, you assume it's one or the other. All right, that's epididymis. You're supposed to know. Let's see what's the next one. Make sure I got the right list.
Does the sperm already